Welcome to part 2 of this series where we will cover how to do the basics on how to do a flat oval using Tunisian dragon scale stitch. You know, just basics on texture and any parting thoughts that I may have. Let's get started. Alright, some parting thoughts for you on working the oval no swirl using the textured. I'm going to show you just a little bit of it because I realized while I was redoing the rug yet again that some of you may not know how to work the dragon scale straight, okay, without the center section. I mean, you know how to do this by now. Okay, but part of my thoughts were, this is the rug. I've now had a chance to rip it apart and redo it a couple of times and restart over, is that when working the sections here, I noticed a pattern as I was writing it all down that you will end up beginning the beginning of each wedge will not be the same throughout. Okay, you'll do like this is dragon scale, of course. You'll do 2 rows that begin with your Tunisian simple stitch, and then 2 rows that begin, the next 2 rows will begin with your Tunisian purl stitch, and it'll alternate back and forth, which is totally fine. But it also it's every couple of rows. No, it's not. I take that back. It's just the beginning that changes it up. But if you play with it, you see now that there are no swirl lines whatsoever. You can't even tell where the two line up at the beginning of the wedges right now, possibly because this is so short. But you could probably, an interesting thought that occurred to me is you could probably play with the individual wedges and have it so that either the first stitch is consistently Tunisian simple stitch all the way up, or the last stitch Tunisian simple stitch all the way up, and that'll give you the lines that you may want for a particular pattern, say a turtle shell, if you want to turn this into a turtle shell. If you need sections, okay, what I would do is I would do the last stitch of each wedge, okay, so that'll give you 1, 2, 3 all in either purls or simples, and then the center section I would work all the way over and do the last of that one in the same stitch, and then do it again on each at those 6 points, last stitch in every wedge and the last stitch in every section, and that'll give you some nice dividers and really define those sections like you might want. They're kind of blurred here because I didn't bother trying to do that, but if you want that effect, that's something that you can play around with. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to work 2 wedges and a straight section. Okay, for those who do not know how to work the straight section, and it's going to be a pretty similar method throughout. Okay. And as you can see, I've got my stitch markers all lined up. These are my straight sections. This is my starting one. This is the very first round, so I can count where I left off. 1, 2. If I actually turn it right side up, we can count together. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means I need 4 straight. And this one I started with a simple over here. And I am bringing the orange one up. So I want a... Now, how I figure in each section which one to start with, here are the stitches I'm working across. In this case, my first one's going to be my increase, but if you look at the second one, it's a purl. So we want a simple or purls and purl or simples. So we want this to be a simple, therefore we need to start with a simple here, so that by the time we reach that other stitch will fall into pattern, okay? And this is our clockwise twist, so the increase goes in the first. Pull it down, slide to the side, go behind, bring it forward, let it go so it comes up behind the hook, yarn over, pull through, there's the increase for that wedge, Move your stitch marker up. I put it in the simple. That was the very first stitch that I did. This is going in the very last stitch that I do in each wedge, because that's the counterclockwise. And then it's simple your purls. The next one is a simple, so we purl our simples. And simple purl. And we've now hit the green marker, which is the next wedge. No, it's not. It's part of this wedge. Correction. We're going to purl this last one. And that one wants to be loose. Try and get things out of your way so you can see better. I didn't want to explain the whole thing because I didn't want to repeat this one over again because we went into quite a bit of depth with this. However, I don't want to leave you totally high and dry. So this was the compromise that I cooked up as I was working this. Now, as you see, I am finishing up round 7. But this is pretty much the same method that you use all the way down at the bottom. Okay? You saw I simpled the front. I am purling the back. Make sure I pull this through one, moving only my orange stitch markers up as I go. And I have it written in my little piece of paper or whatever where I won't lose it, which is which. And yes, I am actually writing down the method so that when I'm totally finished, maybe, just maybe, I can write it all out and get it on the internet to sell the pattern, but we'll see what happens. But play around with your wedges and your straight stitching in your straight sections and see what kind of effects that you can come up with. Now here is the straight section for you. All right, this is a simple, so we're going to purl our first one, and this particular one is 12 stitches across. Moving my stitch marker up immediately, getting a little more yarn would be a good idea too. And then simple my purls, purl my simples all the way across, all 12. Oh, come on, you. All the way over to the last one. Move my stitch marker up. Count, make sure I've got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, we have got all 12, and as you saw, it was just that easy. It's just you're following in pattern from the first to the last each time. The next round, I'm going to simple my purl and purl my simple. So it's going to be simple purl, simple purl, simple purl, simple purl, ending on a purl. And then you just turn it around. Squish it up if you need to. And work it off just like you've been doing. Simple enough. Once you get past the first, I'm going to say 4 rounds. That way you've done counterclockwise and clockwise twice. You find it gets easier and easier. Okay. And there you go. The oval textured. And the center section is not going anywhere because of the pull from the clockwise and the pull from the counterclockwise. Hope you've enjoyed learning this new technique as much as I have enjoyed teaching it to you. I will see you next time with Hook at the Ready. See you later.